Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. So I hope every last one of you had a really good holiday with your family and your loved ones, or if it's just yourself, I hope you had a good holiday. I woke up sick yesterday, so I needed to take a day to get myself together. I also did a few watches of Stranger Things Volume 2. Now, I don't know if that's just me, but I like to do a couple of rewatches before I make any opinions. And so I can also make sure I caught everything I needed to catch, because typically speaking, the first watch, it's easy to miss a lot of details and Easter eggs. And in the last part of this video, I will also give my opinion on how I think Volume 2 was, especially in comparison to Volume 1. Before I jump into what Volume 2 means going forward, I wanted to start here because some of the biggest theories I've been talking about were finally confirmed. The biggest being the Upside Down. I was right that the Upside Down was never a separate world but a bridge. It exists between Hawkins and Dimension X, which what the show is now calling the Abyss, and it was created the day 11 accidentally opened the gate at the Hawkins lab. That moment didn't tear a hole in reality, it also created an interdimensional pathway connecting space and time. Next, the wall. I theorized the flesh wall was acting as a containment ring, existed to hold folded space together and stop Dimension X from fully bleeding into our world, to keep whatever is inside of Hawkins' lab inside the Upside Down from spreading. I was halfway right. It's stabilizing the bridge and protecting our world from fully merging with Dimension X, and the red orb, the exotic matter created by Brenner and the scientist, is the single energy source holding that entire wall together. And here's the part that changes everything. Nancy shoots and destabilizes it, believing it to be a generator, powering the fleshy wall surrounding Hawkins' lab in the Upside Down. What Dustin thought was a shield or dark magic wasn't supernatural at all. It was man-made. And once it ruptured, it spread through the Upside Down, destabilizing the wall, tearing an opening, thanks to Steve's car, and exposing what really is on the other side. Not 12 children or Vecna's lair, but a wormhole. And lastly, Dr. K. I was right about her too. She's not Dr. Owens. She's not a good guy at this point. She's just another Brenner. Different approach, same obsession. Recycling Henry's bloodline to recreate psychic children as weapons. So yes, some things I got right, some things I was only halfway right, and some things I was absolutely incorrect about. But when you put all of these confirmed pieces together, one thing that becomes impossible to ignore. This story isn't just about killing Vecna, it's about understanding Henry. Because Henry Creel is where this story starts, and I still think he is the key. Everything starts with Henry. Not Will, not 11. The cave, the fear. In the first shadow, we learn Henry was already being influenced by the Mind Flayer as a child, unknowingly killing animals in his sleep, unable to tell dreams from reality. And that uncertainty, that loss of control, is exactly how the Mind Flayer and Dr. Brenner was able to get in. Henry didn't start evil. He was groomed, manipulated, and now, decades later, he's doing the same thing to the 12 children. That's why Vecna chose them. Not because they're powerful, but because they are easy to control. He tells Will this himself. He chose children because they are weak in body and mind, making them the perfect vessels to be shaped, broken, and controlled. And we see that manipulation play out when the 12 children turn against Holly in episode 7. Inside Henry's dream world, he presents himself as Mr. Whatsit, a helper, a guide. He weaponizes a wrinkle in time, framing the Mind Flayer's darkness as a black thing spreading across the world. But here's the twist. Henry projects his own evil outward. He tells the children Max is the monster, that Holly is infected, that escaping is betrayal. And before Holly could warn them, Henry gaslights the group into bringing Holly back to the light, which ends with them all violently attacking her. That moment matters because it proves something crucial. Yes, it did confirm how easy it was for Henry to manipulate the children. However, it also proves the Mind Flayer chose him for those exact same reasons. The same tactics used on him, fear, isolation, and false heroism, are now being recycled through him. And here's the part that reframes everything. The 12 kids aren't being held, they're being used. Inside the abyss, Vecna has physically and psychically connected himself to them. Feeding tubes, hive mind links, synchronized trances. They are not prisoners, they are psychic batteries. Vecna siphons their combined power to amplify his own, because merging two worlds isn't something he can do alone. It requires scale, it requires stability. That's where the children come in. Dustin discovers that they aren't random victims, they're anchor points in a sustainable Tesseract energy circle. Before, Vecna used traumatic deaths to crack the barrier. Now he needs something stronger. Obedient vessels, synchronized minds, a stabilized power source. 12 children acting as one. The energy isn't opening the upside down, it's doing something far worse. It's collapsing the wall entirely. The upside down was never the destination, it was the bridge. Vecna's real goal is to force Dimension X, or the Abyss, the true home of the Mind Flayer, to physically collide to Hawkins, to erase the space between them, to make the merge permanent. That's why escape isn't possible. That's why Holly is pulled back without Vecna even touching her. The system won't allow it. At the end of Volume 2, Henry gathers the children around the table. The clock chimes, their eyes turn white, and for the first time, they function as a single unified engine. The ritual has begun. And once the energy circle fully closes, there is no bridge left to cross. Only one world remains. Now let's move on to Will. In Volume 2, Vecna may have revealed something that has always been questioned in regards to the Upside Down. Will didn't create it, but he built the tunnels. Night after night, while he slept, Will unknowingly jacked into the hive mind, shaping the underground network that allowed Demogorgons and Demodogs to move freely through Hawkins. And if that sounds familiar, it should, because it mirrors what we learned about Henry in the first Shadow, doing things in his sleep, unsure if they were dreams or memories, and then later realizing the damage was real. The Mind Flayer doesn't just control through force, it controls through unconscious access as well. But here's where Will breaks the pattern. Instead of remaining a vessel, he turns the connection into a weapon. Now, Will doesn't have Henry's blood like Eleven or Callie, but proximity gives him access. He siphons Vecna's power, puppeteers the hive mind, and from the inside, he's able to temporarily disable Vecna, even snapping his leg within the psychic network. That moment matters because Will saves both Holly and Max, and it raises a much bigger question. If Will can do this from inside the hive mind, what else is he capable to do if he goes deeper? Okay, on to Max and Holly. Max and Holly's escape attempt confirms something that I think will be crucial moving forward. Music was never the key. Max didn't escape because of the song, and Holly didn't escape because of the necklace. What mattered was the love and the memories tied to those things. Max tells Holly something that seems small, but isn't. The necklace doesn't make her heroic. She already is. Holly returns to her body. She actually makes it out of Vecna's lair and finds an opening to the Upside Down and falls through the bridge. It looks like victory, but it isn't. She's pulled back, almost like gravity, like the bridge itself rejects her. And that's the point. Escape won't be as easy as the group thinks. Holly being pulled back proves that breaking free from Dimension X isn't just about running. It's about breaking the bond itself. And that's why the necklace matters. When it breaks during the fight, it isn't a loss. I think it's a signal. Holly never needed it to be strong, and she never needed it to be brave. And in the season finale, I think we will get just that and a call back to what Max told her about her not needing the necklace to be heroic or brave. And I wouldn't be surprised if Holly and Derek are the key to helping the kids get to freedom and out of Dimension X. One of the most important reveals in Volume 2 really had nothing to do with monsters or even Dr. K. It was Callie's plan. Because Callie doesn't believe in happy endings. To her, a cycle never stops. The labs can get destroyed, but there will always be more doctors and the experiments will get recycled anyway. So for Callie, the only solution is for her and 11 to sacrifice themselves by staying inside the Upside Down and dying with it. If there's no more blood, then there's no more programs or no more experiments left to recreate. And I can't lie, I understand why Callie thinks this way. She's been hunted all of her life just like 11. Everyone she loves has ended up dead. She's never had a hopper. She's never had a party. From Callie's perspective, sacrifice feels like the only way this ends. But here's where the lines get blurry. Callie doesn't get to decide how 11 leaves this world. In using fear, guilt, and inevitability to push 11 towards the choice isn't protection. It's most definitely gaslighting. Just because Callie can't see a future where they survive doesn't mean one doesn't exist. And that's what makes her dangerous moving forward. Not because she's evil, but because she's convinced she's right. Could Callie team up with Henry? Possible. Not because she agrees with him, but because they both believe in ends instead of escape. Could she double-cross the group? I think she might, at least temporarily, if she believes that the only way to stop this cycle is to do this once and for all. But here's the difference. Henry manipulates children because he believes control is necessary. Callie manipulates 11 because she believes hope is a lie. Now I want to spend a little bit more time on Callie because she is giving a dark villain. Now I have seen theories where some people think Callie is actually the mind flayer. Now I'm not going to go that far and pull on those threads. However, I do think it could be possible that the mind flayer is attached to her as well. I mean, if you think about it, she's been inside this lab with the military. They could have been injecting her with the particles to see if that would help their quest on successfully impregnating these women. It's also possible that Callie made her own deal with Dr. K under the guise of, if 11 does come to rescue her, the plan is for 11 to switch spots with her. So 11 is now the one inside of this vault and Callie is now free. And if you think about it, they would have no reason to continue to keep Callie if her blood is not working with the pregnant women. Now, it's also very possible that none of these things are true. And this is just a product of the environment Callie has been continuously surrounded in from birth until now. So it's like, how can you expect someone to believe in happy endings when thus far they haven't had any happy endings? I mean, if you ask me, this is basically how a villain's origin story starts. And I couldn't imagine if we go back to season 4, for example, when 11 was in Project Nina. Imagine her still being there with Brenner and Brenner not letting her go. I'm positive we would have a different 11 at this point if she was still being controlled, manipulated, and stuck inside of a lab and being tested on 24/7. And Volume 3 is going to force her and 11 to confront whether ending the cycle really requires dying inside of it. Okay, now before I wrap this up, I want to take a few minutes to talk about Volume 2 as a whole, because I think a lot of people walked away disappointed, and I get why. Volume 1 was louder, bigger, more action driven, and episode 4 is always a standout in Stranger Things. Historically though, episodes 5 through 7 typically serve as a transactional arc. While often criticized by some as filler due to heavy planning and exposition, they contain some of the series' most critical plot revelations. And for the most part, I think Volume 2 did deliver that. Now, from a plot standpoint, Volume 2 confirmed more theories and answered more long-standing questions than any stretch of the season so far. We finally learned the upside down is a bridge. It's not a destination or a separate world. The wall is an interdimensional structure powered by exotic matter. The red orb isn't dark magic, it's man-made. Vecna isn't opening gates randomly, he's executing a stable merger. The outside of the flesh wall is revealed to be an actual wormhole. So no, Vecna wasn't using the kids to power a wormhole or to time travel. It already existed. The kids aren't victims by chance, they're anchors. We learned Dr. K's plan, and we also learned Callie's plan. Those are massive revelations. They don't explode, they recontextualize everything. But where Volume 2 really shines is emotionally, and I do think a lot of people are underselling that. Take Dustin and Steve, for example. All the moments that we got from them in Volume 2 were just from the anger, from the emotions, from the honest conversation that Dustin needed to hear about not only himself, but about Eddie and him not having to die. Like, all of those moments felt long overdue. Oh, and don't even get me started on Karen Wheeler. Karen doesn't step up because she hears her kids are in danger. She steps up because someone else's kids are. Even injured, even terrified, even physically limited, she still chooses to fight. She protects Lucas, she protects Robin. She's the reason Max's physical body wasn't killed by the demo dogs, and that says something powerful about maternal love in this story. Not just for your own children, but for the community. That moment was quiet, but it was deeply moving. We finally got Will coming out. Jonathan and Nancy breaking up, but also Nancy confirming where she stands with Steve. Joyce and Hopper on their parenting. Mr. Clark is now a part of the group. Max finally escaped Camazotz and her emotional return to her body. I mean, I can go on and on, but the point is, Volume 2 had a lot of emotional payoff, and because they did it now, these are things we don't have to worry about seeing in the finale. So I'd rather them clear this up now versus getting to the finale and they take 20-30 minutes out of the final battle to give us this fluff shit. So I'm glad we got it out the way. And it honestly feels like Volume 2 is intentionally reminding us of something. Even when everything looks bleak, even when things fall apart, love still works. Not perfectly, not cleanly, but enough. So why do people feel so underwhelmed? Because we expected loss. We expected a death, a sacrifice, a failed plan, something explosive at the end of episode 7. Instead, Volume 2 ends on preparation, on truth, on positioning, on the moment before everything breaks, and that's uncomfortable. Do I wish Volume 2 ended with a stronger cliffhanger? Yes. I think most of us were expecting Infinity War / Endgame. However, the Duffers most definitely gave us Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. And if you don't know what I mean by that, Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1, it was a filler. They didn't want to put all of or any of the battle into that first movie, so it pretty much set up this ending battle in Part 2. And that's what the Duffers did, in my opinion. Volume 2 is giving Deathly Hallows Part 1, and then the finale is going to be Deathly Hallows Part 2. Watching Part 1 separately, it's a decent filler. However, when you watch them back to back, it makes Part 1 an even better movie. And this is exactly why I disagree with how Netflix now releases their shows. Stranger Things is a better watched when binged. That's just my opinion. I don't think releasing it in parts was the best idea. They could have made it better though if Volume 1 was episodes 1 through 4, so we still ended on the Sorcerer. However, Volume 2 would have just been episodes 5 and 6, so we would have ended with Max maybe making it to her body, and then Part 3 or Volume 3 would have been episodes 7 and 8, and we would have started with this emotional climax of Max finally making it to her body and having this moment with Lucas. I think that would have been better versus Volume 2 being episodes 5, 6, and 7 and them ending it there. Volume 3 should have been episodes 7 and 8, so we had that two-parter feeling, but again, that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, Volume 2 wasn't about shock value. It was about confirmation. And it's about laying the foundation for what's to come. Volume 3 is where everything these characters learned get tested. And while I would have preferred for episode 7 to end with an even bigger cliffhanger than what we got, I still have faith the finale will give us everything and more that we've been wanting to wrap up Stranger Things 5. So what do you guys think? Were you underwhelmed with Volume 2? Did you think Volume 2 should have ended on a bigger cliffhanger? Do you have any preferences on what you would have liked to have seen in Volume 2? All in all, I can say that I did enjoy Volume 2. Yes, I do think that they should have ended Volume 2 with Episode 6, and then Volume 3 would have been Episodes 7 and 8. However, I am confident and excited that the finale will be the payoff for all of this, okay? I can't believe we are down to the last 4 or so days until we get the last episode of Stranger Things 5 ever. And with that being said, I just want to remind everybody that we literally are down to the last 4 days until we get the last episode ever of Stranger Things 5. I understand that we all have our expectations of how we wanted this to end. However, don't let what you wanted cloud your judgment and actually enjoying the show and the ending that we get. It took a decade to get to this moment, okay? Enjoy it. Just enjoy it, okay? Until then, everybody, stay out the upside down, stay curious, and I will see you in the next one.